The next day at the semi-final venue, Marines spontaneously showed up to support Tommy. Their powerful military songs created the most moving soundtrack imaginable. Tommy stood at solemn attention throughout their performance, and only after his fellow servicemen finished singing did he salute and step into the cage. His opponent today turned out to be Mad Dog, who had been running his mouth to the media all week, boasting about how he was going to settle the score tonight. But he was completely oblivious to the atmosphere in the arena. The entire crowd was squarely behind war hero Tommy. Sure enough, one devastating punch sent Mad Dog crashing to the canvas, completely knocked out. He went down so easily that even the commentators were caught off guard. Brendan wasn't nearly as fortunate. His semi-final matchup was against the reigning champion, the strongest fighter in the tournament. Everyone feared he might actually get killed in there. The outcome was heartbreaking to watch. Brendan barely survived the first round, and the second wasn't much better. He found himself backed against the cage, absorbing a brutal beating from his opponent. Anyone else would have thrown in the towel by now, but Brendan kept fighting. Giving up meant losing his daughter and leaving his wife and child homeless. He had to dig deep and find every last ounce of strength to protect his family. His corner was urging him to stop taking punishment and start fighting back. If he kept this up, he was going to lose for sure. Something shifted in Brendan's eyes, they became razor-sharp with determination. In the third round, he went on the offensive. Even though he couldn't match his opponent's raw power, he decided that if he was going to hurt, they were both going to hurt. Since he couldn't win a striking battle, he took the fight to the ground where it became a test of endurance. Brendan's strategy was to look for submission opportunities. That was his path to victory. He managed to lock onto his opponent's arm, but the champion quickly escaped. When Brendan tried to control him again, that massive frame slipped away once more. Finally, in an act of desperate self-sacrifice, Brendan deliberately walked into his opponent's trap, allowing himself to be caught in a submission hold while simultaneously locking onto his opponent's ankle. Both fighters were pouring everything they had into this moment, a mutual destruction scenario where victory would come at an enormous cost. It was the most reckless, all-or-nothing fighting style imaginable. Eventually, the pain became unbearable for his opponent, who tapped out in surrender. Brendan had somehow pulled off another victory. Nobody could believe what they'd just witnessed. This teacher pushing 40 had just defeated the strongest defending champion using pure heart and determination. But this was only the semi-final. His final opponent would be his own little brother, Tommy.